Good morning and welcome to Logscope, and we're going to show you how to do crossplot from a well and any crossplot. So let's look at the well that we wish to use, which will be the core example well. So we click on that or tap on that if you've got a touch screen, and it opens in the primary view, which is the plot view. If you look down at the left hand side, you have these options: header, data, plot, crossplot, deviation plot. We want to use the crossplot. So we go to the crossplot, and if you've opened Logscope for the first time, you will be taken to the x-axis, y-axis gamma ray plot. If you click on that, you will see that there are lots of other plots, and they are in a list. So to set this up as a basic neutron density crossplot, we click on the y-axis. We've got minimum, maximum, major and minor standard deviation. And if we click on the log, we can actually enter the log that we want to enter, which is the row B. So we enter the row B, and as soon as it detects it as a log that it knows something about, it asks if you want to change the log name only or everything. So we will say everything, and it changes the minimum and the maximum to be 2.9 to 1.9. Then we will do the x-axis, and this will be the neutron log. And again, we follow the same protocol, everything. So we have all the data here. Now the basic things that you can do with the plot are like here. We can click on any of the histograms and we can get the minimum, maximum and standard deviation. This allows us to look at the zones. If you've only got one zone, you'll only see all, and these will be empty. The region allows us to play with the region, and that has special functionality, and we'll talk about that in a minute. And then we'll talk about the x-axis and the y-axis here, and you'll note that there's this option called save. So we're going to save this as a global plot, and we're going to call this row B versus N phi. Very simple name. Now that plot gets stored up in the list of plots that we've got up here. So here we have the row B versus N phi, and so we change to that. So this is the plot here. The setup button has some very unique features. We'll talk about options in a minute, but you can reset back to the plot coordinates, or we can lock the scale, and that resets it back to the original scale. So that you stop inadvertently changing the scale on your plot, you can lock it. And this means you can't move it or do anything with it. It is locked in that particular shape, or with those particular scales. So we're going to leave that as locked, and I'm going to show some of the additional features. Down the bottom here, you'll see that there is this additional feature called a show sidebar. So let's show the sidebar. And this shows the actual log analysis, parameters, the processes, logs, and the parameters. And it will show them for the zones. So if we scroll through, we can actually see the points by zone. So we will go to this zone here, zone B, which is where the core data is. And that allows us to see the parameters for that particular zone. The log analysis bar has been made into a hotspot. So if we tap on that, it allows you to see a side depth index plot over the interval covered by the zone, which is zone B. You can change the units and you can display in feet or meters. We can also load different ones, so we can go back to this one and you can see the points there. Now, the region point comes into play here. So if I tap on region, I say I'm going to add a region, I can circle a bunch of points here and it will show me where they are on the cross plot, on the depth index plot here in yellow. I can actually unselect all those points, and if I do this from and hold the mouse button down on the side plot, I can actually highlight a zone and see what those points are over here in the region mode.